Hi, I'm coming to you today from my office, and so just wanted to share a piece of information I heard on the radio this morning. There are actually 7 million open jobs right now. That's right, 7 million open jobs right now. So if you're struggling to find a job, the situation might be you. It might not be the employers. I know that's hard to hear. I know that's not what anyone wants to hear. But in this current climate, if you think about it, there are 7 million open jobs. That means that employers are really, really looking for people right now, and they're not finding them. So if you're one of those people that's been looking and looking and looking, and they're not finding you, I have some tips for how you can get better at that. So first off, what are you saying, and how are you saying it? Most people just say what they think employers want to hear, but there's a strategy to that. And I'm going to break that out in upcoming episodes. But for right now, I want you to think about what you've been saying in interviews. How have you presented yourself in the cover letter? How do you present yourself in the resume? Most of the time, we do it in the ways that work for us. But in this climate, we've got to do it in the way that works for the employer. The goal of getting a job is making the employer see how you fit into their plans. It's not them figuring out if you're the person to hire. It's you giving them the clues so that they know you are that person. When I've been successful in a job search, it's been because I've explained to the employer exactly how I fit into their plans. Again, let me say that. It's how I fit into their plans. A lot of people I've talked to try to give the information in a way that they want the employer to do the work. The reality is the employer doesn't have time to do the work. They're busy filling a hole often with overtime and people doing additional duties because someone left a job. So asking them to do the work to figure out whether you fit in is asking more than you can ask of them. So if you're thinking about this today, think about what you can do to make an employer see you as a fit. What would that look like? How can you help them? That's the question you want to be asking right now is, how can you help them? What can you do to make their life easier? Because if you think about this from a very simple logistics effort, or logistically, I guess, the logistics are this. The employer has a problem. They need to fill a spot, and they're looking to fill the spot with someone who's going to give them the least amount of risk. Every hiring decision is a risk. I know I've done it. I've hired people and it's a risk. It's a risk to my reputation. If I choose the person and they don't work out, that looks bad. It's a risk to the company and it's a risk to all the other people who have to interact with that person. So how can you minimize that risk for an employer? You minimize that risk by showing them what you can do with powerful stories about who and what you are. So if you're thinking today, how can I be more successful in a job search? Start thinking about how you solve the employer's problem. How do you solve that problem? What is the problem that they have and how do you solve it? Okay? So as we go into the weekend today, think about what that looks like and how you can solve the employer's problem. Write something down and see if you can ask some other people, show it to other people and ask them, is this solving the employer's problem? Okay? Have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday.